D'Antoni could have won a championship. Steve Nash is one of his proteges, really. Like, think about what D'Antoni did here in New York City where he returns. Carmelo wasn't the right fit for D'Antoni and vice versa. But even taking a guy like Jeremy Lin, who's a modest talent, he was a good player, but not a great one. But Jeremy Lin bought in and ran D'Antoni's system. They won almost every game. He doesn't even need a great player, just a good one who run his system. They won all the time. And now he's actually just an assistant to Steve Nash, who has a great relationship with KD and loves Kyrie. The beneficiary of all this more than anyone's going to be Kyrie if Kyrie buys in. If they get buy-in from Kyrie, because D'Antoni, not that he's the head coach, Nash is, but when D'Antoni was the head coach of reluctant superstars, stars who said, this system doesn't work for me, he did not do well. Carmelo, Kobe. When he had buy-in from his superstar, Nash, Harden, he did amazingly well. Even buy-in just from a guy, but a nice player who would run his system, Jeremy Lin, he did really well. And he's not the head coach even. Steve Nash is your head coach. You got a long-time assistant with the Spurs and D'Antoni. So veteran presence, in the coaching world on the bench for Steve Nash, a rookie coach in New York City with a comeback in KD. KD was we already knew how good KD was. We're not talking about his level of excellence. We wanted to know what a championship does is tell us that you're great. But KD tried to reverse engineer his greatness. I'm going to go to a team that won 73 games. It's a tribute to LeBron. KD looked at LeBron and said, I need more. The Warriors looked at LeBron and said, we need more. Remember, LeBron had just led a comeback against those Warriors in a Game 7 at Oracle against the 73-win Warriors to win the game, to win the championship. So KD and the Warriors joined forces and had like an unfair advantage. That doesn't, I know KD is arguably the goodest player in the world. But was he the greatest? That doesn't prove greatness. That doesn't prove what? You joined a super team that can't lose, almost couldn't lose without you? Of course you add Paul George to that team that has smoked everyone, let alone KD. But now that KD is hurt, coming back from an Achilles, we don't know if he'll ever be the same. Now that he's not in a situation like in Golden State, because Kyrie and LeVert and those guys, that's a really nice team, but there are other really nice teams in the league. If KD wins a championship now, he will have proved his greatness in a way he could have never proved it in Golden State. And then he will enter the talks for real. Like Jordan, and then after Jordan, who are we talking about? LeBron, Kareem, Bird, and Magic. Oh, KD's going to be right there if he does it in Brooklyn. And meantime, Kyrie, who's been a chemistry killer in Boston and Brooklyn, but is maybe the most skillful player who ever lived. Like, you take that level of talent, whoever had this kind of skill? Kobe? One or two other guys? Who has the greatest handles of all time? Maybe Kyrie. And considering the handles, how's his range? Does he shoot well? Yeah, he shoots the lights out. And how's his athletic ability? Top-notch fast twitchies. And how does he finish in the paint? Under the rim? Maybe better than anyone who ever lived. He's got all the talent in the world. Has lacked the wisdom so far in his career in terms of when to deploy the talent. Has lacked the leadership ability to make a group better than the sum of its parts. But do you know what Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni are going to do with Kyrie Irving? This dude's going to average 30 points and 10 assists a game. Oh, the Nets are exciting. And by the way, the Knicks are a garbage joke laughingstock. Congratulations, Jim Dolan, who had the gall to escort Charles Oakley out of Madison Square Garden. A fan who has a sign, "Sell the team," gets escorted out of the Garden. You can't say sell the team? What's wrong with that? Because it hurt it punctured, pierced your paper-thin skin. It hurt your feelings. Jim Dolan thinks he's a genius. He's bored on third base, thought he hit a triple. Thinks he's a genius because, oh, look, he keeps making money in New York because there was no option in New York. There's no other basketball team in New York. The Nets were in the ABA when they were in Long Island, and then they were in Jersey. He ran unopposed. And New York's a basketball-crazed town. When people say, what kind of a town is New York City? It's baseball because the Yankees are the greatest franchise in the history of time. So it's because of that a baseball town. Football is king in America, but in New York City, do you understand in the mid-'80s with Patrick Ewing at center, not a championship team, just a powerful playoff team, the Knicks were charging $1,500 for courtside seats in the mid-'80s? New York is a basketball town. Number one, and by far a basketball town. But it ain't a Knicks town anymore. Hallelujah. Not a Knicks town anymore. It's a Brooklyn Nets town. The Nets have not only taken over, they squashed the Knicks like a bug on a windshield under their feet. No one cares about the Knicks, Dolan. Your garbage laughingstock franchise. Because of you. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.